Greetings, my friends, and thank you for tuning in to the Hometown Moguls podcast. My name is Ryan Yoder, and here I will be sharing inspiring small business stories from your own community. Please take a second to like, subscribe, follow, share, give a thumbs up. Anything that you can do to help support the podcast would be greatly appreciated. Now, please sit back and enjoy the show. All right, so we are officially recording, Tyler. Appreciate you jumping on the podcast, dude. Do you want to go ahead and take a couple seconds, introduce yourself, and tell the world what you got going on right now?
Sure. So my name is Tyler LeBlanc. I am the CEO of Delaware Trash Can Cleaning. I'm coming up on a year that I've been in business now. It's in April will be a year. But we are a curbside service that comes to your house on or after trash day. That way the cans are empty. It doesn't matter what service you have. And we take the cans and we spray the outside with 200 degrees of water, which ensures that it's killing bacteria and germs. The CDC says 140 degrees is required to kill bacteria. So, we kind of go a little overboard. It's between 180 and 200, and spray the outside of the lid, any common touch points. And then we flip the can upside down in our machine. There's nozzles on there that spray up to 2000 PSI and about 200 degrees of water in a 360 degree pattern. And all that stuff gets captured. And it doesn't go on the street or in anybody's yard. It's pretty eco-friendly, and we don't use any chemicals right off the bat. We'll use some eco-friendly Simple Green on the inside only because we capture that. So most of the time the wand takes care of anything on the lid or those areas that you're commonly touching all the time. But yeah, so far so good. I mean, we've been on a roll. We've been doing our route 5 days a week, picking up people here and there in Middletown, Smyrna. We go all the way up to Pike Creek. Pretty much anywhere in the Newcastle County area except past 141. We try to keep it a little local right now that we got one truck. So once we get a couple more, we'll spread out. But for now, it's Newark and Middletown, Smyrna, Hockessin. I mean, we've been all over the place. So it just depends on what day your trash is picked up and who you got. But so far, this past year has been pretty successful, and I'm looking forward to talking to more people, letting people know about it, and educating everybody on how it works and what we do as a company.
Cool, man. Well, I mean, this is going to be audio only, so people can't really see, but it looks like your hands are pretty dirty. So you're as a CEO, you're getting in there and you're actually doing the work yourself too. It's
yeah,
not like
man.
You're just directing a crew. I mean, what's involved in it? For what's your crew look like? Is it just you, just a couple other people? Who all you got involved so far?
So right now it's I pretty much pulled my whole family into it at this point because they all see, what we've started together. So my father, he's on the back end. He's making sure everything's organized on the financial end of things, tracking all the numbers. He loves doing that. So that's his thing. I'm wearing all the different caps for routing, scheduling, marketing. My hands are dirty right now because I just did the brakes on my truck. Make sure I can stop pulling that trailer. It's really important. But yeah, a bunch of different caps, just like any business. I mean, you got to be really flexible with time, and you got to be able to bend over backwards for yourself and make it work. So far I've been able to make it work. We've had a couple breakdowns. The weather's been, up and down, but we reschedule everybody accordingly, and we try to keep everybody in the loop and communicate with each client individually. So.
Gotcha. And the equipment that you're using, like the pull behind system, is that something that's already set up and you just kind of put your own logo on it, or is this something that you customize to an extent to match what you're looking to do? How involved is that from the default setting?
There's a lot of people now that are popping up left and right that are building equipment, but I actually bought my equipment from someone down in Florida who specialized, over the past 10 years. That's all they've been doing is building this equipment and learning. So it came to my door just as you see it. I designed the wrap. I had somebody make my logo. It took a couple months to put everything together. But the company was really cool with me. Sparkling Bins, they put all my stuff together for me and talk with me every single day and help me design the trailer the way I wanted it, the color of the arms, the color of the hopper. So all the stuff that you guys see when I'm driving around on the road is all, custom in my end, but it was all built for me and kind of set right to my door. And they build tons of other equipment too, which, we're trying to expand a little more and get a different truck. It'll probably be a full-size truck, but the trailer was a good starting point, and it really catches people's attention when you're on the road. It's not something that you see every day. It's not a landscape trailer. It's not like a, a tow behind car trailer. It's bright green. It's got lifters on it, and people do double takes all day because they're intrigued. They don't know what it is. So I think the trailer was like a really good move on my end because my truck is able to pull it, and it's a great rolling billboard.
So, and the idea of starting this company, I mean, where did that originally come from? Did you see other people that had done it? Is this something that, you realized was underserviced in this area? Like where did it actually stem from?
So originally I used to be a manager at CarMax. I ran a detail team for a couple of years, and we had these trash barrels in there. There's about 10 of them, and nobody ever wanted to put bags in them. They were always just trash, just kept getting thrown in. People would spit in there, whatnot. It got kind of gross, and nobody ever wanted to deal with it. So I had to power wash out some cans one time, and I got soaked. Sticking a power washer wand inside and getting soaked with all of that stuff on you was not the best feeling in the world. So I thought there's got to be an easier way. And I was just, I'm on YouTube here and there, looking at videos, looking at different, things that I enjoy on my hobby, on my free time. And one of these videos popped up where some guy was washing out trash cans down in Florida. And I just started doing my research a little more because I've never seen anything like that. And I did my research, and I noticed that over in the UK, they've been doing it for 15 years, cleaning out people's trash cans. Now, they do live a little closer together, and the streets are really tight, but they got guys going in there with little trucks, cleaning out everybody's trash can, and they collect all the water so it doesn't go down the drains in the city, doesn't go into anybody's ecosystem. It goes in the truck, and then they properly dispose of it. So I started looking around and just did a couple of searches. And I mean, honestly, nobody was doing it here, nor in Maryland, PA. Like it's still fairly new industry, and it's growing. But I just got in at the right time. And there's actually 2 other people that do it with me. They're north of me and south of me. They each have a truck, and all 3 of us are talking consistently all the time on how we can do better, what we do to grow, working together to solve problems. So, I mean, it was just ironic 2 other people came out with it at the same time, but it just goes to show there is a market for it, and people do pay for it. And they also enjoy the service too. They love the results, and it's a lot faster than you sitting there trying to lug out the garden hose, lug out the pressure washer, getting yourself soaking wet, putting chemicals in the can. I mean, we can do it in under 5 minutes, on a really, really bad can that hasn't been touched in 10 years. We can make it look brand new again and really please some people out there in the market.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I can imagine just from our own cans that we put out. I mean, it's definitely something that we're definitely going to have you come out and do sooner than later because they're getting pretty nasty. So, but the time frame of, say, you get this idea, you're looking at the YouTube videos and stuff like that, to the actual inception of purchasing equipment and making that transition to being your own boss. I mean, what was that time frame look like from beginning to end?
So I'd say in the beginning, it was like maybe the end of 2017, start of 2018, because I was out on my own, just living in Newark, working at CarMax and like making things work. But I actually quit that job in the last year. And from the time, let's just say that from the time that I saw that first video and did some research, it was probably like 2 years. And that idea was kind of just sitting in my head, still a good idea. I just had to get some things straight on my end. And then once I did, I was able to pull the trigger, and like maybe in 4 months, I had that thing at my door. So then I just started marketing hard and got my website taken care of, and everything just kind of fell into place, and I just stayed at it and really came out on top, and it's been a good first year.
Yeah. I mean, I imagine, purchasing that equipment and stuff, sounds like you already had a truck potentially ahead of time, things like that, but sounds like there's some initial startup overhead. I mean, did you go the traditional route of going to the bank, taking out a business loan, making the whole business plan? Is this something you had people invest in? I know you said families involved. Like, what was that?
Yeah, I don't want to get too into detail, but basically I just had to clear up like my student loan debt. I had some from going to UD. I cleared that up first, paid off some personal stuff, and then just lowered my expenses for a while and just kind of lived, don't eat out, get some food, cook at home, only use gas to go to and from, don't go anywhere else. And I just saved my money and then put a down payment on the equipment. And then my father got involved too, because at first, I mentioned the idea to him and he was like, oh yeah, sounds cool, kind of brushed off. And then he started looking into it. and now he owns about 45% of the company, or 49-51 is how we divvied it up.
Okay.
And we're just having a good time right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure, it's a scary transition to becoming your own boss. I've never made the transition, but it's I'm sure very rewarding, and especially if it's taken off the way you're describing it. I mean, it's got to feel pretty good, bringing an idea to actual life and seeing it in front of you,
Oh,
materialize.
absolutely. Absolutely. It's been it's been a little bit of a roller coaster because problems, issues do come up, and but it's just fun taking care of it and knowing that it's my logo and it's something that I have. So, that's just been not much of a dream. It's been more of like my work ethic and my drive as a person. And I still slowly realized that as I got older, because I was always trying to go above and beyond at my other jobs that I had, and it never did anything for me, if that makes sense. So this is more fun for me because I have control of everything. And if I want to start, going down this path, maybe I'll do some soft washing. I can do that. If I want to do something else with it, I can. The equipment, it doesn't just wash trash cans, but that's my specialty. And that's what I love doing every day because I get to drive everywhere as well and see all of Delaware.
Now, did you always picture yourself as becoming a business owner in the future, or was that something that didn't like you actually had to see the idea of the trash can cleaning to like trigger the idea of like maybe I could make this work as a business?
Not. I feel like it's always been in my blood in a way because I used to own a business before where I wrapped cars, and that business was very. It was fun and it was a learning experience because I had a different partner at the time, and I was just put into different situations where I was uncomfortable, but I got over that, and that was just like, it was all in my head. I thought it was difficult, but then I did it, and then I was like, oh, it's not bad. And like I painted so many cars, and I've just always been driven, and I've always wanted to do that extra step and go further. So I couldn't really tell you like, yes, I dreamed of cleaning trash cans when I was, little, but this is definitely an experience, and I've been having a blast doing it.
Now, do you see this being something that you just continue to? You mentioned adding other trucks and bringing on more crews to take on more territory. Do you just continue to build and stay as involved, or is this something you want to have set up to eventually be self-managing and you can then venture out and start another business? Do you kind of see yourself being like a serial entrepreneur in that front, or you're just focusing on this?
Honestly, I'm not too sure. Like right now, I'm only a year in, but I see myself at least being at this for the next 10 years and trying to get a couple more trucks. If I have to be the guy in the shop that's like working on the trucks while my guys go out and clean, I'll do that because I like working with my hands every day. So I'd probably be involved for a good amount of time before I was able to give it up.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean that makes sense, dude. It's your baby now, so you got to keep sticking with it and see where it goes,
Right.
especially if the market's growing. So what are some surprises as you've come into? I mean, it sounds like you have experience then owning a business, so you're somewhat familiar, but making it this far in and to the success level, what type of surprises have jumped out at you as a business owner or in this industry that's brand new? Like, what are some things that were unexpected that kind of caught you off guard?
Some of the equipment, like learning about the equipment was fun, but there were definitely some times where I didn't want to because there was just like, I'll give you an example. Last December, I had to send out emails to everybody saying, we gotta push off for this week. I gotta push everybody the next week because I just couldn't figure out why my lifter arms were stuck. And that took me a week to like, I was out there every day in the cold because I have a garage, but the machine won't fit in the house garage. So we just built like a shelter out back, and it just keeps it safe out of the weather. So I was out there for, I don't know, 3 to 4 days. Just every day I wake up and go out there and play with everything and try to figure it out. So anything that, working with my hands, it's exciting. I like doing it because I worked on cars before, but I guess I underestimated how much attention the equipment needs because I'm using it every single day and I'm beating on it every single day. So keeping up with the maintenance is a whole nother, put on a different cap. That's a whole nother area that I think that I underestimated, but I think I've caught up now. And as you can see, doing my brakes, making sure everything's staying in line. And really staying on top of the maintenance and keeping an eye on things. So I think maybe I underestimated that a little bit. Expenses as well, they come out of nowhere. You know, you're not ready to go to the DMV and drop $2,000 on a license plate, because that's what I did 2 weeks ago.
Oh, geez.
But yeah, I mean, there's like little things that pop up, but you know, I get over it and just keep working towards building the business and building it a little bigger and spreading out a little more. So.
And you mentioned, you know, making sure you collect the water after you guys are using it to wash the cans and stuff. Are there any sort of like environmental regulations you had to learn about, or any special laws or anything, you know, when it comes to the particular industry you selected, that you, along with just owning a business license and stuff, but you know, anything in addition to that?
I mean, there's not too many concerns environmentally, because most of all the water that's, you know, coming inside or out of that can per se is getting collected in my hopper. The only thing that goes onto the street, and it's basically just hot water that's landing on the ground. It's the same thing as like rainfall hitting a trash can and hitting the ground, because we just like rinse the outside real quick. The point of rinsing the outside is just to clean off the common touch points. You know, we're not trying to flood the street with water. We're just trying to hit those areas with the hot water. That way we know that everything's dying on impact with that heat. We do carry these filter socks on our truck, you know, just in case that there is any runoff that's going to go into a storm drain or anything. We actually block that storm drain and make sure that nothing on our end is going down there that shouldn't be. We're just taking precautions. Just, you know, we're not sure yet if there's any laws like that. It's just clean water, and there's no chemicals being used on the outside of the can, and it's not going anywhere but inside that hopper. So hopefully that, you know, that's okay. And I'm looking, you know, keeping my head up and keeping my eye out and ears out for things. But I think that we're in the clear for any environmental issues, because it's all hot water and it's all collected on board, and anything that does touch the street, you know, I'll even wash cans in the grass, just to make sure that there is no, you know, anything going in the street. If it goes in the grass, it's okay. It's like Earth's filter.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I mean, clean water. We only use fresh water. I know there's some systems out there that recycle the water, and I've seen one of those firsthand, and I'm not really too impressed with that system, because I'd rather have fresh water going into people's bins and cans rather than reused water, you know. So I got a big freshwater tank that's comes straight out of the softener at my house. It's 500 gallons, and then we collect all the other water. And the water we actually collect, we bring to an RV park where they dump black water. So our water is nothing compared to what the RV water is. But the guys down in Florida that built the equipment, they recommended, hey, you know, check in with your RV stops, see if they'll let you dump there. And most of the time it's okay. And I've gotten permission from a couple people to dump at RVs. So that's where I've been going, and it's been working well, and the water's being collected and treated properly.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you're taking the proper precautions and thinking ahead as far as blocking the drains and doing everything you can to keep it as safe as possible. And as far as, you know, when you bring on a customer, what's it look like for you as far as, do you set people up on like once a month? Is it just a one-off situation? Like, how can people set up with you? Or do you just do like a one trial, or, you know, what's that look like?
It just depends on the situation. So let's say somebody signs up and they want a monthly subscription. The way that I run my routes, I try to run them super efficiently, because I don't want to be driving all the way from Pike Creek down to Smyrna all in one day. So I divide the month up into sections. So the first 2 weeks, I'm usually above the C&D Canal, and I'll grab all the Newark routes those 2 weeks. So I get a 2-week window of people who have biweekly recycling, you know, various days of different pickups. I keep everybody grouped together. That way I can accommodate, you know, any kind of client with any kind of trash hauler. Because as you know, in Delaware, there's got to be 10 to 15 trash haulers alone. So that was my solution for that. So the first 2 weeks up north, last 2 weeks I'm down south, you know, Middletown, Smyrna, down in that area. So a customer, if they sign up monthly, it depends on their location and their time. And I explain that to them in the confirmation email I send out. But We offer a monthly service. We offer a quarterly service, so we can come every 3 months, which is pretty popular. And we also offer a one-time cleaning, which is a little more expensive. But we're going to be running a promo soon here. We're going to do half off of a one-time, so we can give people that opportunity to try us out if they want to. And then we're also going to add on every 2 years. I'm sorry, not every 2 years, twice a year. And we're going to see how that works. We're not sure on the pricing yet, but we're trying to put that together. That way, people have different options when they go on our website.
Sure. And that's one of the things I was going to ask, just out of curiosity, on a business side, I imagine, you have to kind of play it as it grows, as feeling out what the pricing should be. And, how do you determine that? Did you just kind of ballpark what you think was fair and what covers everything, and then you just kind of adjust as it goes?
Yeah. So I figured, on a monthly subscription, people are paying. I have Netflix, I got Hulu. I didn't want to make it something that was too extreme where somebody would look at the price and go, well, I wouldn't pay that, every single month. That would be, too expensive. So I was just kind of weighing my options. I talked to a ton of other can cleaning guys in the nation, because there's got to be over 400 to choose from right now. So I just started calling people randomly, making friends, and just talking to them about their pricing and their demographics and, all those small details and, how they got to their pricing. So it just seemed to work pretty well monthly right now. So we do $10 for one can and then $5 for an additional can. So if you got 3, you pay $20 a month. And then the quarterly, I kind of made a little bit cheaper, just so my schedule could be opened up a little more. So depending on what service you want, if you want more frequent service, it's just going to be a little more expensive. If you want less frequent, I'm traveling there less. So that's how I kind of put my pricing together. As for monthly and quarterly, one-time cleanings, I normally tell people the first time you clean a trash can is probably the first time ever, and it's always the worst. So
Sure.
There's sometimes, the machine, we'll throw it up there, we'll clean it out, let it go through its cycle, and we'll bring it back down. And most of the time, if it's a first time, I got to get in there with a little bit of a brush and kind of agitate things around and move it, and then throw it up again and let the machine rinse it out. And then normally that's, that usually works out, because all the nooks and crannies, they've never been cleaned in years. Even if you did do it yourself, you probably just had a hose, and, if you had a brush, great. If most people don't, they just hose it out and hope for the best. But we'll get in there in great detail and make sure every single nook and cranny of whatever waste hauler can you have, it'll be spotless, clean, and smiling as we bring it back to your door. Because we've been doing that for every single client. We've been walking all your cans back to your door. So when you get home, you got clean cans sitting where they should be, and you don't have to walk them up.
Sure. So, I mean, wearing multiple hats, then it sounds like, are you, doing any sort of like reaching out, cold calling? Do you just wait for people to come to you through your advertising online? Like, what's your outreach look like right now?
It depends. I mean, initially I wanted to be involved with, the Middletown Chamber of Commerce, go to the Peach Festival, and just go where I could advertise in person and talk to people, because I like talking to people in person. I love when people come out on the street, and that's another part, is people come out while I'm cleaning, and then I start talking to people that way, and I get people to sign up that way. But a lot of the Facebook posts help me out, a lot of social media content. People like to see what they're paying for most of the time. So if they see a video on, it working really well, or seeing the video of the equipment, or seeing it drive by on the road. I mean, just seeing the actual trailer, I get calls all the time. But the marketing, reaching out to people, I don't normally cold call. I do get a lot of phone calls with questions, and I'm happy to answer them. But I mean, most of the time it's marketing through social media, marketing through neighborhoods. We'll go out and we'll tag some trash cans if they're empty already, and they're right next door to their neighbor. We'll offer it to them too. So, and I think word of mouth too. I mean, we did a referral program for about 6 months where we were giving somebody a free month if they referred their neighbor. So that worked out pretty well.
Cool.
I mean, there's tons of different strategies. Every single area where there's a can cleaning business, there's all different kinds of factors that are factoring in for every single person. So many variables. So it just depends on your location, and it depends on your demographics and how many people are in the area. And I mean, it's pretty unique. Every single business, they're all the same, but they're all unique in their own way because everybody does things differently as a business owner.
Yeah. I mean, how do you keep your skills developing? Do you use any particular resources? Like, do you have any books you've read or any things that you would suggest to someone else that's trying to develop skills as a business owner as you're going about learning these different things?
I'd say just ask a lot of questions. Be open-minded, and no matter what business you're running, I mean, I think you should be open-minded, and if you're not learning every day, then you're doing something wrong. Because every single day is just a new day to learn something different and try it out. But yeah, I talk to a lot of people in the industry as well. If I ever have questions, I have the support from the team who built my trailer. I can call them any day of the week. I even have the shop manager's number. I'll text them. I can reach out to them, but most of the time it's making friends with all the bin cleaners and can cleaners in the area and working together and referring people to each other, because I can't tell you how many times the other two people in the state, we go back and forth referring people left and right. Because, let's say somebody wants to sign up at the beach and I'm up here. I just call my friend Luke down at the beach and I'm like, hey man, got a guy that wants his cans cleaned. Do you want him? And then I send him his info, and then they still get the service, but it might not be from me, but I just help somebody who's in the same industry, so just making friends in the industry and talking to as many people as possible and asking questions. That's how I keep growing and learning.
It makes sense. So, I mean, using this platform, how can I help promote, what other than tagging you on, I'll put your social media information in there. Is there anything in particular you want to plug? Anything special that I could put out there to help get the word out for you?
I mean, just posting my website and having people go to the website and just check it out and kind of look through the services. I mean, a lot of people's first initial reaction is, why would I clean my trash can? And that was mine 3 years ago when I first saw the industry. But then you go out and look at yours and you're like, well, it does have an odor. It does, I've never cleaned it ever. And then the various bacteria that are the most common bacteria that's found in trash cans, like E. coli, salmonella, and listeria, are just all things from common household items, like throwing out in your trash. You got old food, you got diapers. I got a lot of dog owners that, throw out the little doggy poop bags. They really enjoy the service because they know if there's something smelling in your trash can, it's probably something growing and it shouldn't be in there. So we clean our toilets, we clean our, all around our house, our cars, whether they're leased or not, we're still taking care of them. It should be the same thing for your trash can, and making sure, you don't have anything funky growing in there and you're not accidentally exposing yourself to some germs that you didn't even know.
Yeah, I mean, it makes absolute sense to me. Like, I'm surprised, the industry hasn't had an earlier start, but good on you for recognizing a need in the market and filling that. And I'm very happy to hear that it's growing for you, and I wish you the best of luck. I really appreciate you taking the time to jump on and chat, and hopefully we can check back in with you in the future and see what other leaps and bounds you've grown by, and see what's going on later on down the road.
Yeah, man. All right. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking the time out to get me on the air and get some information.
Cool. Hopefully this gets some traffic moving your way, and wish you all the best.
All right. I appreciate it, Ryan. Thank you.